All right, welcome back to the channel. I want to do this video on this jacket I bought my son for his birthday last month. This is the Carhartt loose fit firm duck chore coat, and that's a mouthful right there. And this is their warmer rating, and this is a big coat. This thing is only an extra large, and this thing is huge. The length, it's got to be like 33, 34 inches. I'm a big guy, he's a big guy, and when I tried this thing on, this thing was just floating on me. I felt like I was wearing a tent. It's definitely a big size coat. They're not a super popular coat for them. I think I paid 65 bucks for this, maybe 60 bucks. I thought it was a good bargain. And honestly, he hasn't worn this thing that much, and he has a couple of reasons for it that I'll try to remember to touch upon. But let's talk about the jacket or the coat. All right, so it's their warmer rating. And you definitely, usually I don't follow their ratings too closely. I find them to be a little bit of a mixed bag, but this one is not that warm, and I think there's a few reasons for it. One of them is it doesn't have your storm cuffs, so the wind can kind of scoop right up into the sleeve. It's got buttons, and they're tough buttons to handle. Like, I have a hard time with these buttons. Like, even in the store when I was trying this thing on, I just had a hard time getting in and out of this thing. It was like, I mean, if Dua Lipa was standing there and she said, okay, button those buttons really quickly, I probably could, but that isn't gonna happen ever. So it takes me a lot to get these things buttoned. And this jacket's not super warm because they don't put a storm flap in here, and there's no zipper, obviously. So a lot of that wind can get through here pretty quick if it hits you right, as opposed to like a Detroit jacket where I bought it at the same store. I mean, this thing's got a zipper and it's got snaps. They're easier, and even though they're the same rating. And this is firm cotton duck, and it's 12 ounces of cotton duck. And this one doesn't feel any different. And I don't recall if they actually called this thing firm. I don't think they did anyway, but they feel very similar. All right, so in front, you got 1, 2, 3, 4 pockets. And once again, they throw that button up here that I really struggle with. They're riveted, and they are riveted. I can feel it. I can feel it right through the material. So they do seem to be truly riveted. They're not fake. They don't feel like they're glued on. They actually do feel like rivets. And they're gold color. There's, a pretty deep pocket. There's no flap. So I guess you could potentially lose something out of this. You do have a flap here and you don't here. Okay, so that's a little different. And then if you go in, or let me just give you an example of how hard this is. Like, I am like fighting this sucker right now to get this thing on. Now it's only one hand, but I can usually handle stuff with one hand, no problem. And boom, finally open this thing. All right, so inside we got blanket lined, just like a Detroit jacket. We have an inside pocket, should be with Velcro, and it is, which I like. This side, it should be a zipper, and it is. So pretty standard for a Carhartt. We have quilt lined sleeves, and I love it when they do that. I do like the quilt lined sleeves because I can get my arm in and out of a quilt lined sleeve pretty quickly. My watch isn't going to snag on anything where it might on a blanket. So I do like that. That's one good part of that. But this, I mean, I can't even film this thing. This thing is so big, this jacket. And this is just an extra large. Extra large is like perfect size for me in Carhartt, generally. And this is big. Like, this thing just floats around on me. Winds can, I feel like I don't know, it just felt very, very loose for me. So let's go up to the sleeves here. We have some pleats on the sleeve, pretty standard procedure for a Carhartt, right? And if I flip it over the back, we should have a pleat up here around the shoulders. So they do design it for work a bit, like their typical jackets, like the Bartletts, I'm sorry, and the most of their other stuff. They give you some of that flexibility, which I really do like with their jackets. They do have some nice functions. I can't believe how dirty this jacket is, and this thing's only a month old. I actually had to kind of try to clean this thing off. I'm like, oh my God, this kid, he just, I found it buried in his room someplace. I don't even know. It looks like he rolled in a salt mine on this thing. It's got a middle seam right down the middle of this thing, which I like. I do like that. It doesn't have, and a lot of people don't like this anyway, which is kind of cool. I personally do like it, but it doesn't have a dropped hem. It's a straight shot, but this is a long jacket, so it's, you know, it's a long jacket. You wouldn't need a dropped hem. For instance, here is a Detroit jacket in double extra large, right? Check this out. Double X. And I'll give you an example. Okay, that's my dropped hem. You see the difference in size on that? I mean, that's extra large. That's double X. I realize it's a Detroit jacket and they're shorter, but you know, people always say that the new ones are longer because of that dropped hem, but I'm still, even though this is a double X and this is a single X, there is still a good 3 inches difference here at that dropped hem. So that's, like I said, this is a huge jacket. All right, but he doesn't seem to care for it because of the cuffs. The cuffs are kind of getting a little, they don't feel too comfortable, I guess. The Storm cuff feels a little better on his wrist. He's having some issues with the buttons. They're tough to move around, not super warm. And like today, for instance, it was actually a pretty warm day. It was like 50 degrees out here today. And he wore Super Ducks instead of this thing, which I thought that'd be interesting because Super Ducks is extreme warmth. And this is just warmer, which isn't much. So I doubt I'm gonna get a lot of views on this video because this isn't a super popular jacket, but I'll tell you what, some people do like the looks of these things, like the baggy jackets. They like it. I personally am not a huge fan, but and some people like the rivets. They like the contrast. I'm kind of torn on that. So yeah, Chore jacket, not a super popular jacket. Find these on sale. You can find these for 60 to 70 bucks right now, and I think they initially went for about 120. Anyway, thanks for watching.